Hey, what's going on? This is Sunshine.
And he's E.
And what time is it?
It is story time.
That's right.
Hey, we're back. Story time.
Okay.
Favorite time of
Right.
the day.
That's right. We'll get to some, like I said, getting to story time is more question time to bring out the story in us. We're going to get right to it. And before we get to it, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, comment below. So we're getting ready to go. And the questions, I'm going to lead out these questions. And there's going to be two questions that kind of related to each other. But I'm going to ask them one at a time. The first question is, historically, what is a historical moment that really stands out to you? Now, it doesn't have to be the most recent, the most you're familiar with, but just stands out the most to you.
When you say stand out, what do you mean?
Yeah, it just stands out. Like, if you talk about historical things that happen, I guess, in your lifetime, it comes to mind, the most. What's the one that stands out the most to you?
I guess I would have to say 9/11.
Okay.
I have to say 9/11. Yeah.
9/11.
9/11. 9/11. September 11th.
Mm-hmm. For me, that's going to be the same. Usually when we disagree, it's a little bit more interesting, but some things are not, you can't deny. I mean, in our lifetime, that would be the most. Now, some people, depending on their input or their dedication to a certain cause or a certain situation, there may be some other ones. Some might say some of the things that have to do with George Floyd. Some people may say it has to do with January 6th, when the Capitol deal. Some people, that's more current stuff.
That's more current, yeah.
But I think when you think of, it's like a tidal wave. It's like you got a tidal wave, you got regular waves, big waves, then you got a tsunami. And those other things are like waves or tidal waves. And 9/11 was like a tsunami. It really spread out.
Yeah.
And so it really, even though it happened in New York, it really affected the whole United States and ultimately kind of tapped on the world too. So to me, it just morphs.
It all didn't happen in New York.
Well, that's true too. I mean, Pennsylvania. I'm just saying.
Pennsylvania had what? Where the Pentagon was.
Pentagon. So that's DC, isn't it? No. Wait a minute. Mm-hmm. That's Virginia, I think. Virginia. Is that Virginia? Y'all let me know. I'm not really too tight on my thing. I think it's.
I'm not sure.
Because I know Arlington Cemetery is in Virginia, right? Or is that in Texas?
Get me fibbing.
Okay, see, that wasn't my really strong. I'm a math man. Now, I know there was 2 buildings and 3 planes. So I know the numbers. But that affected the whole United States and ultimately the world. Where some of the other ones, it did affect it, but it was more concentrated in that area and then kind of spread out. But I think instantaneously when you see those towers go down, everybody probably go, man, I remember when I first seen it. I remember, and most people remember where they were at that time. So, so 9/11, and it's just so kind of weird. When you go to, like, here in the United States, 13 is considered a bad luck number, but that's not the same in other countries. Other countries have other numbers that I consider bad luck. And 7 for us is a good luck number. Well, other people that might not be. And I wonder, I always wondered when 9/11 happened. For us, we was like, that's obvious that they would do it on 9/11. Because you go 9/11, emergency number, wow, you would think. But I'm wondering if that went through their mind. Or that was just coincidental. Would we be saying 9/12 or 9/12? I mean, if it was a day later. And actually my mother was caught up in that. She was on a flight and had to go stay with somebody she didn't know, and because of that. So
she was actually in flight.
Yeah, in flight, right.
She was physically in flight when it hit the buildings.
Right.
I'm not really sure if she was still in flight when it hit the Pentagon. But then, and then they didn't know. Those people that were on that plane didn't know. They got on the next plane. They were boarding. Next thing, she said they came over the intercom. Everybody dispersed to get off the plane.
Right,
and when they went out into the lobby area, that's when they saw all the monitors.
Wow, yeah. See, those are people
crazy.
that was kind of indirectly affected. Of course, the other people that were in the buildings in the Pentagon and out in that field, they were directly affected by it.
Where were you? I know we weren't together at the time. I mean, we were together, married, but I mean, in the same vicinity of one another. I mean, I was at work. So,
yeah. I think we was everybody, and I knew people that had. I think it was in a break room or something, or some place they had a TV, and we were watching it. And there was some people there was a couple of people that were there that had family members that was that worked in the building, so they were trying to make calls and whatever. But I don't know. I never heard anything back that they actually was in there, but they did have ones that worked there.
Yeah, I was at work, and it was weird because I was at my desk and I got up to go to the restroom, and as I was entering into the hall, because you had to go out of the office into the hallway to go down to the restroom, and I heard someone at the elevators talking and saying, "Yeah, plane hit the Twin Tower or whatever." As in passing, they were talking to each other, but I heard it. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, right. And walked into the bathroom because I was like, that never happened. I just like, what are they talking about? And I kind of thought maybe it was kind of a joke, or I really did not know. And went into the bathroom, restroom, finished, came back out, sat down at my desk, and then people around the office, I hear this uproar, and then I heard the conversation. Everybody was talking to him, this side of the room, that side of the room. I was hearing it everywhere, and I'm like, okay, something's going on. And that's when I got up and went to someone's desk, and that's when I was told. I immediately tried to call my father because he was right there in New York. Right. He lived there in New York. And I couldn't get him. The line was busy.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with it. Yeah.
I think everybody was calling.
Yeah.
And all the lines were tied up.
Right.
And I couldn't get him, but I did finally get him on the phone, and we were on the phone actually when the first tower fell. We were literally, the office manager pulled out all the TVs because back in the day when they used to have seminars and different classes, they would pull out the TVs like they did in school.
Right.
So he pulled out every TV we had in the office, and people out, because we all couldn't get to one. It was a big office, and so there were separate televisions. We were all watching, and talking to him actually when one of the towers, when that first tower fell. And then we got disconnected at some point in time, and then I tried to get him back, and I couldn't. It was
right.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I always figured that the people that were on, I guess both of those planes, the ones that hit the Twin Towers, my assumption that the people didn't know what was going to happen and believed that it was a regular hostage situation where either they would be all right, or some authorities or agency will handle it eventually. Because I have to believe that those people, if they knew what was going to happen, would have sacrificed their life for it not to.
What do you mean?
What I mean is, I'm sure that they were feeling there in this hostage situation, so they didn't risk their life to try to take over the people that hijacked the plane. But I think if they knew that was their intent, they would have sacrificed their lives. Because I think that's what the one that had did.
That's what the right. One of them. Right. Yeah. What the one that hit the Pentagon?
No, I think the one landed out in the field or somewhere. That there was.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it was like okay, the thing about it was the company I worked for at the time. We had people that were connected with us that were in that building that actually perished in the building, because they was up on one of the higher floors. Never seen them people again. They used to come in our office, never saw them again. and just to watch people making a decision.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't imagine.
I know.
I just can't imagine having to make a decision whether I was going to burn up in here or jump.
Yeah.
It was, I can't.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. We're going to move on to our other question. Got that, get a little emotional here, but we're going to move on to the next one. And it's kind of similar. It's kind of more of, everyone has, like years ago, people was like, they remember where they were when Kennedy got shot. They remember where they were when Martin Luther King was shot. They remember they were when you had the riots in Watts, or the riots in L.A. when Rodney King verdict deal. And so the question is, having that vision, that vivid memory of what event where you can say, I remember I was here, these people were around me, this was the year, this is, what event happened that puts you in that mind? I guess I'll go first, but there's several that I have. I remember where I was when I heard Prince die. I remember where I was when I heard Michael Jackson die. But I could not tell you the year, and I could not tell you the date. I would have to kind of noodle through, and I still probably wouldn't. 9/11 is easy. I'm not going to go to that because it gives you 9/11. That gives you that part in the year 2001. So everybody kind of gives you that one. So I said that's too easy. The next one is a sports event. I knew exactly where I was, knew exactly what year, and that was when Mike Tyson was knocked out by Buster Douglas. I remember who was with me. I remember how people acted when it happened. And remember that distinctly. And because I remember the main thing I remember about the fight was I thought Mike Tyson would win. But as the fight was going on, I'm like, okay, I like this. He's getting beat up. But then he'll probably come and take the guy. I was happy with that. To me, he just got so cocky. I was like, just beat him up at least a little bit. So he maybe won't be as cocky or put some lumps on him. So then when he went down, I remember people was jumping up, yelling and going crazy and stuff. So that's one I remember distinctly. Almost like it happened a couple months ago. That's how vivid it is to me. Every time I talk about that, every time I see highlights of that fight, I remember that apartment complex, the apartment building I was in watching that fight. So that's for me, it's the Mike Tyson being knocked out by Buster Douglas. Okay, you're up.
What's the question? I mean, because you did a couple of them there, and I'm like...
No, I'm asking you, what is the most... The event that happened that you remembered exactly where you were? I'm just giving you examples that a lot of people say they remember exactly where they were when Kennedy shot Martin Luther King. All those people remembered. It might not be yours, but I'm saying, what is an event that happened that you remember exactly where you were at that time? Except for 9/11, I guess. No, I mean, unless that's the only one you have.
I mean, I know exactly where I was. I'm going to use Michael Jackson. At the time, I was at a seminar, and I had gotten a phone call, a job offer, actually, while I was in a seminar. And when I jumped up, because I had to leave, go outside in the hallway, and got the job offer. Actually, I was still working there at this time at that same place. But when Michael Jackson passed away, I wasn't in the seminar. I was on my way home, and I had just pulled in to where we live, and my daughter called me and told me, because it wasn't on the radio. Or was I playing the radio? I might have been playing a tape that I wasn't listening to the radio, and that's where I was. I was pulling in, but I had just come back from seminar. Job offer. It was June 25th, 2009. I remember. Prince, I don't really remember. That was yours anyway, but I just piggybacked off of Michael Jackson one because I remember.
Kobe Bryant too. And what's weird, I was in the vehicle when I heard Kobe Bryant died. And it's weird because the way the guy was talking, and he said the late Kobe Bryant, and I thought he was referring to his basketball career almost. And he kept talking. And the place that I heard them tell me when I heard on the radio that Kobe Bryant died, and the place I heard that Prince died, I was in the car, was less than less than a half a mile in the car. That's each time. It wasn't, of course, it wasn't the same day, but those two places. Once I heard the news, those two spots that I was in the car was less than half a mile from each other. That's weird.
Less than
my other words. When I heard Kobe Bryant, I was on one corner.
Oh.
Earlier on, I heard Prince. I was probably another block down when I heard. Same area, block away, two different times that I heard, Prince. When I heard Michael Jackson died, I was in a vehicle. Most of the times, I was in a vehicle. A lot of places, people I've heard that passed, I was in the car, I think, at the time. Well, I shouldn't say most of them. I get a lot of alerts now. Man, it's like people die like crazy. I get alerts all the time. And a lot of young people, too, but the actors and actresses and stuff. So, but that's our questions, and we're going to pass some questions on to you so you can answer or ask somebody those questions. But until then, do us a favor, go ahead and like this video if you could, and also comment below. And I do believe that's it.
That's it. Thanks for listening
To Sunshine and E.